prayer should not be forgotten on any level of spiritual journey. There exist about us all manner of good and wonderful energies, no matter how you classify them. Many of the Abrahamic religion followers know well to pray to God, or to Jesus, or one main figurehead they have in their pantheon. For Christians, this is a Sunday prayer, or they pray over their food. For Muslims, they have their salah. And these are indispensable parts of a spiritual practice. But for so many people within and without the Abrahamic faiths, prayer is yet underutilized. Entire books from great spiritual teachers, incarnate and otherwise, have been made entirely in dedication to prayer. I Am discourses by Saint Germain, Joseph Murphy, or even classical texts, like I had recently read the Ars Notoria by Solomon. This text implores the use of classical prayer even by some of the most magically adept practitioners that we have books from centuries ago. There is so much more power in prayer that can be unlocked by many of us. I come back again to the old adage, ask and it shall be given. We are faced with the knowledge that there are higher beings all around us. Every religion is aware of the truth that, as a human, they are waiting in the wings for you to connect with them. If you are familiar with the Christian faith, you know Jesus is there waiting for you to reach out to him, and he will always be there to grab your hand, but not until you reach first. Not until you give prayer and reach out with your Adam's finger to touch the hand of God will you taste the divine storehouse of wonder that is afoot. Many pray when they need something dire, or humbly ask for the bare necessities. But why are we so shy as to ask for what it is we really want? Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son asked bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? And line 11 here from Matthew is so powerful because it goes beyond fish and bread. It is how you wish to give good and fun toys and experiences unto your children. We don't want our children to have just the bare necessities. We want a grand and prosperous, fun life for them. How much more grand and enjoyable could your God give you? And it can be granted because it says, for everyone that asketh receiveth. Everyone that asketh receiveth. Let me say that one more time. There are no stipulations to what you should ask for. Yes, ask for the bread and meat that we all need in our daily lives, but the glory of the kingdom is so much more grand. Why won't you invite that into your life as well? No good and wholesome desire comes into your heart that God is not first the impetus of that desire. And besides, what harm is there in asking? Be not lukewarm in your prayers. Be hot or cold, lest ye be spewed out. The sincerity of prayer, the excitation of the Spirit, is what sings an ever more wonderful song above that your prayer should be granted post-haste. Then we begin to learn how we should fill ourselves so completely with our prayer that we can never doubt that it was heard, and that we should feel the complete promise of its fulfillment. For if your child came to you, weeping and begging for some abstract toy, would you seek to fulfill the request? Or perhaps there is some greater issue that needs to be addressed that is not the toy. Now, if you're a purist and believe completely in your one-on-one connection with God in austere prayer, and nothing more, then all the rest of this video is sacrilege. But there is so much more to learn about how we can better excite ourselves in prayer, that they are that much more powerful. Firstly, we have brain states. We have, of course, the lovely Dr. Joe Dispenza for being, in my opinion, the pioneer for pushing in medical terminology the validity of brainwave states as generalized phases of cognitive power. Your daily life is probably lived in beta. This is basic waking alertness. If we can calm the mind and allow our waking alertness to come to us as a babbling brook, then we can achieve an alpha brainwave state. At this basic level of deepened awareness, any practice that allows one to feel in flow will put you into an alpha state. A passion hobby, basic meditative practices, basic sober relaxation. The ones that really matter are the theta and gamma wavelengths. Gamma is the golden state of heightened awareness that is achieved during powerful transcendental moments of meditation. There is no doubt when you reach gamma because you are in elation. That's when you have achieved a feeling so real that you feel the reality of your prayer in that moment. Tears are shed, neurology is rewritten. All manner of transformative outcomes have been reported from people achieving gamma. This is the highest order of cognitive function. When one asks how to achieve such a state, of course meditative practices are important, aiming for the known potential outcome of true elation in prayer. But this requires a body that is exercised, fed well, reduced in stress. This could be covered in its own right, but far easier to achieve is the theta state. This comes in a normal, deep, meditative state. You know you have reached theta when you can still feel you are within your body, but there is a certain stillness. It is as if you have reached a point of zero inertia, and it would take a small amount of willpower to decisively leave this brainwave state. This state is far easier to reach because we naturally pass through this state as we fall asleep every night. It is important to either lay flat on your back or to be seated. If you're too comfortable, you will simply drift off into sleep. But I want to be comfortable and go to sleep anyway. So we can take advantage of our normal routine. I assume that most of us sleep around once or twice per day. If when going to sleep we do so knowing that this is free passage through theta, we will attempt to meditate in a state of high elation and fantasy while headed to bed. And you will no doubt have time in theta where the meditation and state of prayer is highly powered by this brainwave state. There is so much advantage to the way our body naturally cycles throughout days, weeks, even lunar cycles. So if we want to embolden our practice further, we can establish routine. Anybody who's ever heard of Neville Goddard knows that he recommends using the transfer through theta for manifestation. He refers to it as the state akin to sleep. This is doubly powerful because routine itself leads the body to expect and prime certain states of being the more they become habitual. Taking this same time daily of going to bed and accessing theta becomes easier with every subsequent attempt. We can compound this effect by having short routines multiple times per day. In the afternoon or early evening, we are full of energy. In the middle of our day, and consider routine there as well to have a short prayer that will be packed with your full daytime vigor, combined with the expectation of routine. But perhaps my favorite time to engage in prayer is in the morning. Immediately upon awakening, we are similarly not fully awake yet. This can be a very useful time to meditate as well, but I find sitting in repose to be at risk of leading me back to sleep. Luckily, when awakening, the body is doing its best to activate the body for the day. This opening up of the energy of the body naturally makes the opening up of prayer even more powerful. As well, I find it particularly important to connect via prayer as soon as possible in the day. The sooner I enter a feeling of divine connection, the more of my day I spend in right action and right thinking. I begin my day by aligning to my values, and that makes all the rest of the day easier. Not to mention physically, it becomes a good routine to open up the body, because I can add movement to my prayer to warm up my body and increase the passion of the prayer. Movement. We are all aware that certain postures, like the power pose, can elicit certain moods from the body. I find in my meditation often the urge to move. This is not always the case, but it is a great option. If we are to really exalt ourselves in prayer, I know there are lots of people that feel most exalted in dance. There is no guideline for how one is to move their body to feel highest. You'll just have to trust your body, and to not feel embarrassed by how you feel urged to move. God already thinks you look ridiculous just as you are. It can't get any worse. This works into even the minutiae of the body. Yoga has long since identified poses and mudras, positionings of the hand, to aid in focusing on certain states of being. This is worthy of exploration by all those who wish to enrich their practice. And what more enriching to the body than to oxygenate the brain and body to the maximum? Breathwork. Doing breathwork to prep the mind into states of oxygenation will make prayer easier. I'm sure everyone and their mother knows about Wim Hof method by now. But are you doing it? It is also important for general health as well, so that is a bonus, and I recommend adding in breathwork to your day as a general practice outside of prayer. Even more fine than breath is prana, chi, reiki. If you are familiar with any one of these, then I would implore you to open up these channels briefly to get even more energy flowing throughout yourself. Upon arrival of chi work, we have reached a very subtle level of attunement in our prayer. While this subtlety is perhaps the tallest tower upon the temple of prayer, it is unwise to forget the wisdom of the past to build one's home upon a rock. Long have there been the use for physical tools to aid the complete envelopment in prayer. Like in ancient texts, we can then look to create cues for prayer, like a setting, incense, ornamentation. But these are only to aid in the focusing of the mind completely, and are not where the power is derived, the likes of which have been studied from time immemorial, and it will be up to the practitioner to find what really gets you in the mood. But again, I reiterate that all of this is not technically necessary. Your mind, heart, and gut are all the operant power of your prayer, and don't need any fanfare to be operating at the highest level. But there are all sorts of lovely tools that I and many others make use of to reach the highest, most wonderful states of prayer, that if they had no spiritual effect, would simply be a worthwhile feeling to enjoy in its own right. To cover briefly, we have all of these sense impressions in our body we can activate and incorporate as well. Incense or essential oils can activate the olfactory system. Chanting, solfeggio frequencies, hymns can activate the hearing. An environment decorated with inspiring works of devotion, or what brings passion into one's heart, activates sight. We feel within our body, but can have some garments, prayer beads, a wand, a book that we can hold to feel externally, and an often unused sense in prayer is taste. A beverage or small bit of food can activate this last sense. Sweet can activate safety or tenderness, like honey tea and a date. Bitter flavors are purifying, clarifying. Black coffee and dark chocolate. Acidic flavors bring alertness and vitality. Lemon water and yogurt. Spices and aromatics bring emotional warmth and depth of ethereal connection. Spiced chai and a cinnamon cracker. If you would like a full video on how to use these 5 senses in prayer, let me know. It would be a pleasure to do so. All of this seems over-involved. I understand how busy lives get. This is not to take so much time in your day if you wouldn't wish to. It is recommended to spend at most 15 minutes to reach as high of a state of elated prayer as you are capable of in that moment. So don't think that all of this is too much to fit within your day. And I can attest that for me, this practice should take precedence in your schedule, because all the rest of my days are filled with so much more passion, compassion, and enjoyment when I am consistently calling in those states actively, every day, into my reality. As always, I love to hear how you best use your systems, and if you think I'm missing anything. P.S. Secret hint. This is also for the solo practitioner. There is so much more you can do with multiple people. Please leave a comment below to discuss how you would better optimize your prayer.